Okay, I'm starting on the underbody repair kit, and I've seen other people do this where they've not followed the MWO. And the MWO, it requires that you cut out the parts here that you're putting the pieces over, including, and I'll slide this over a little bit, this piece across here. You're supposed to remove that entirely, and then you've got to remove the front portions that go across the front cross member kit. Now, on this vehicle, to start with, the rear cross members were really in bad shape. I'll move up. You can see this one up here. I've removed that section of it. There's actually big pieces of this that are missing in here. You can see I can put my hand down inside there, and the same thing up here. It's rotted out inside. Rather than remove these, because I'm having trouble with this whole vehicle being a little cattywampus from the parts that have rotted out on it, so I'm leaving some of these pieces in place, and on the back piece, I've had to do some trimming to this to make it fit. So it goes into here all the way down, and there's weld buildup down here where the back locking lug of for the seat goes in. But this is all going to be bolted in, tightened in real carefully, and then welded in place the way it's supposed to. So that's that one. Now, the front cross member becomes a little bit more challenging because this entire cross member was missing. It had been cut out and replaced with some kind of big plate metal that had been put on here. So before I can put this in, I noticed that the support to the transmission seemed a little flimsy. So I went and looked at it carefully and found there's another piece of metal that's supposed to be over the top of this, and then on top of that is this piece that goes on here. So that's going to go on after the two other cross members. The problem I found is right here. There's a cutout spot on this, and I noticed nothing here, but I went out and looked at my A2 outside, and this is pushed down as a probable drain point. Now, then I looked at it more carefully and found out there's a piece of sheet metal that goes right across this whole thing. So I used 14 gauge, and I made a new piece to go on that where it goes. And then I buttoned this out a little bit to where I have that drain point. I'm going to knock that down and get those done together really well. And then this is going to be welded on across 3 areas here, just so it's nice and solid, since that's going to be actually fairly covered up with everything. And then I'll put the cross member piece on that after I put these two on. So this is the next piece that has to go on. And that wasn't even shown, I didn't realize it, but I used a heavier 14 gauge material for that, and I've welded the cross member piece. This piece, I believe, was just completely rusted away on there. It was really a mess underneath there. So that's where I am. I'll attach some still shots after I get this whole thing back together.